Hey, Andy's adoring fans, pun not intended.
Here we are, WD-40ing a NuTone.
Yeah, we're gonna give it a little more than WD-40 since I actually got it on the bench. This is a NuTone Verandah Deluxe, one of my favorite childhood fans, definitely in my top 10 fans of all time. And I picked this one up at a restore, and yeah, it's in pretty rough shape, and so we're just gonna give it, you know, the full TLC that I can give it without actually taking it apart, which is oil, WD-40, clean it up with liquid gold. Bearings were pretty stiff when I started, and they're already quite a bit freed up, so we've already accomplished quite a bit. What else? We discovered it has an A.O. Smith motor in it, which is interesting. We've seen NuTones with Universal, Westinghouse, and GE motors. You know, I think somebody else has found an A.O. Smith one before, but I can't remember who. But I'll be interested to see how it performs. Its bearings are still a little stiff for my taste. Whoa, drop the oil. So let me see if I can get to the bottom bearing this way.
Just fish it right through there.
Yeah. Some motors, I think Fasco is one, that do not have any holes in the rotor, so you can't get to the bottom bearing through the top. You know, if people have seen my videos on how I typically oil stuff when I'm not taking it apart, it's very sloppy. I just pour oil in the general direction and hope that, you know, enough of it gets where it needs to go.
Yeah.
Which, you know, frankly ends up being a lot less time consuming and just as effective as taking it apart, unless you're going to take it all the way apart and replace the bearings. That's the best thing to do. I've done that on these before, but that's that's an all-day project, and that's if you have the bearings on hand. And again, you just never know if it's going to be the same bearings in this motor as it was in the last one you tested. And so it's funny how when I first WD-40'd it, it freed up a little bit, but then the bearings got a little noisy. You got the wet bearing noise, and then as soon as I added the 10-weight oil, they got quiet again. But it's still not freed up enough for my taste, so I'm going to keep at it. Fully dripping WD-40 at the bottom, though.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. I mean, this is a WD-40 shop. That's what we do here. We WD-40 things.
Indeed. It was on this fairly lengthy down rod here. Looks like a 3-footer.
And a bolted sealing kit, too. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
I'd rather have the original canopy, but it's still cool that it was actually on a bolted sealing kit.
Yeah.
You don't see those too often.
You found this at a restore?
Yep. Gurney Restore. It's one of the few good things I found there recently. I found great things there in the past, but like for the past couple years they've been pretty dry. Of course, we got 2 other collectors that look in Gurney too, and they find stuff sometimes when I don't. So at least 2 other collectors that I know of that are within proximity to Gurney. Gurney's actually very close to Will, who I've done videos with. So we'll just let this be the last oil that it gets here. I brought some shades so we can test it with the light, but they're not matching shade that's going to look interesting. I guess we could take the light off of it. It's got the full switch cap. You have a preference, Andy? It's a genuine NuTone light kit. That's why I was thinking.
All right, let's leave it on there then.
Yeah.
Although it's not too often that you have a fan with a light kit that actually has the full switch cap.
I know. Isn't that cool? Because normally you remove these little ornate leaves to put the.
Right.
You know. So step 2 of what I'm doing on the bench here is cleaning up the brass with my other magic elixir. Scott's liquid gold. And so far, okay, 1.1 amps without light, 2.7 width. We'll want to remember that for the video. And so far, I haven't have any evidence that this stuff is harmful to the finish, and it sure does a good job of cleaning it and shining it up. And everything else that I've used that does a good job of cleaning and shining it up sometimes is harmful to the finish. So this is my new go-to. You know, and in some cases it's better to quote unquote harm the finish a little bit, but do a thorough job of cleaning it than it is to keep dropping the oil. So yeah, this has got a little bit more of a thorough treatment than most of the fans get before I video them. Did not come with screws, so I stole the screws off the white and brass veranda that I videoed recently. Missing the switch though, that's kind of sad. I got some spare switches around here somewhere, we'll have to see if we can find it. I was telling Andy my stories about verandas and their significance for me, but Andy I don't think had any significance to verandas. Did you?
Not really. Okay, so downrod on.
This is the downrod from the Progress. This has been my go-to antique brass threaded downrod here. Okay, and you know what? I keep forgetting that one side of it is kind of mangled. I need to just get a die and rethread it, but in the meantime I just keep using the other end.
The end that works.
Yeah. That's what she said in there somewhere.
Oh man. So, what's the story with these 3 fans down here?
The more interesting looking ones are Lasco great room models that were sold at Walmart, and they have the same motor as the older Lasco fans, like the turn of the century ones sold at Steers, and the Japanese top mount ones. They've got the quintessential Lasco motor, which is a kind of a skeletal motor, very similar to what's in the current originals, and those are. But the difference between those is they look like a modern fan. They look like something that would have a cheap spinner in it, and they're 60-inch, so they're really huge.
Wow.
And there was a guy on Craigslist that had, I think, 6 of them. And he wanted, I think, like $30 a piece or something. I don't remember what he wanted. Maybe it was like 10. It wasn't a whole lot of money. And I remember seeing them on Craigslist and thinking, those are pretty cool. I'd like to play around with them, but they're not anything that I really want, so I really don't want to spend the money. And I don't feel like I can go there and get just one either, because I can't leave fans behind. So I emailed the guy and said, hey, whatever ones don't sell, I'll take them cheap. And I said, I think I even said, I know you're already, not asking a whole lot for them, but I'll take them even cheaper than that. And so probably 6 months or so went by, and he emailed me a couple weeks ago and said, hey, I've sold half of them, other half are yours for, I think he said $30 for all of them or something like that if you come get them.
Nice.
Maybe it was $20 for all of them, I don't remember, but it wasn't a lot of money. And they were about an hour away. So I had a free day last week, or it wasn't completely a free day. I think I had to run some errands, and then after I was done with my errands, I went out of town and grabbed them. I think, okay.
Sweet.
I think I got everything for this. I got...
Here are our NuTone blades. And our NuTone brackets, which say just as much on them.
Yep. NuTones are very cool in that regard. When you're done filming, we can start taking stuff upstairs and get ready to show the world the NuTone and its resplendence.